Alrighty, so today I'm going to be doing a source slash redaction criticism of Joel. I did Joel because it was relatively easy, or maybe not. Maybe think I'm totally wrong. You can be the judge. But I thought I'd just take a stab at it here and do a video and let you guys know what I think. Also, it's pretty short, so I'm hoping I can do this all in one video. All right, so let's get started. So these sources or redactors, I've defined them as five different ones. First one is the original words of Joel. So this is the original text, or if it was oral tradition, saying of the prophet Joel, and that was a lamentation about locust. The first redactor is what I'm calling or what I'm categorizing as a Deuteronomist. They were concerned with famine, rain, making Joel a prophet of Yahweh, Yahweh being in Zion, Yahweh's temple being in Zion, and also the day of Yahweh. Then after that is the Post-Exilic. They were concerned with punishing the nations and assuring that Jerusalem would not be conquered again. And then the next one is Ruach, or spirit as it's often translated. This Ruach shows up in a lot of the post-exilic texts. I've separated it out as a separate redaction just because it's pretty distinct, but it could be the same redactor as the post-exilic. And then finally is the specific nations, which just deals with prophecies against specific nations. All right, so we will read through the original words of Joel first. Again, this is going to be about locusts, and basically it's lamentation. So most of it is in either the past tense or like the immediate future, I would say. All right, so I'm just going to read through it here real quick. It says, "Listen to this, you leaders. Open your ears, all inhabitants of this land." Oh, the other thing is I'm using a translation called the Names of God translation. I actually don't know much about the translation, but it switches out the Lord English names for like Yahweh and Elohim. So I don't know. I liked it for that reason. So that's what I used. Anyways, all right, nothing like this has ever happened in your lifetime or in your ancestors' lifetime. Tell your children about it. Have your children tell their children. Have your grandchildren tell their children. What young locusts leave, mature locusts will eat. What mature locusts leave, adult locusts will eat. What adult locusts leave, grasshoppers will eat. Wake up and cry, you drunks. Cry loudly, you wine drinkers. New wine has been taken away from you. A strong nation attacked my land. It has too many soldiers to count. They have teeth like lions. They have fangs like grown lions. They destroyed my grapevines. They ruined my fig trees. They stripped off what they could eat, threw the rest away, and left the branches bare. Cry loudly. Cry loudly like a young woman who is dressed in sackcloth, mourning for the man she was going to marry. Israel's fields are ruined and the ground is dried up. The grain has been destroyed. The new wine has dried up. The olive oil has run out. Be sad, you farmers. Cry loudly, you grape growers. Mourn for the wheat and the barley. The harvest is destroyed in the field. The grapevines are dried up. The fig trees are withered. The pomegranate, palm, and apricot trees, as well as all the trees in the orchard, have died. Yes, the joy of these people have died too. Put on your sackcloth and mourn, you priests. Cry loudly, you servants of the altar. Spend the night in sackcloth, you servants of my Elohim. Grain offerings and wine offerings are withheld from your Elohim's temple. Schedule a time to fast. Call for an assembly. Gather the leaders and everyone who lives in the land. All right, so that wraps up kind of the first section of it. And then this next section is not so much in the past tense, but I would say like the immediate future, like the next day, or impending doom of the locust. All right, so it says, a large and mighty army will spread over the mountains like the dawn. Nothing like this has ever happened. Nothing like this will ever happen again. In front of this army, a fire burns. Behind it, flames are blazing. In front of it, the land is like the Garden of Eden. Behind it, the land is like a barren desert. Nothing escapes it. The soldiers are like horses. They run like war horses. As they leap on the mountains, on mountaintops, they sound like rattling chariots, like crackling fire burning up straw, and like a mighty army prepared for battle. People are terrified in their presence. Every face turns pale. They run like warriors. They climb walls like soldiers. They march straight ahead. They do not leave their places. They do not crowd one another. They keep it in their own minds, even when they break through the defenses. They do not break their ranks. They rush into the city. They run along the wall. They climb into houses. They enter through windows like thieves. The earth quakes in their presence, and the sky shakes. The sun and the moon turn dark, and the stars no longer shine. Schedule a time to fast. Call for an assembly. Gather the people. Prepare them for a holy meeting. Assemble the leaders. Gather the children, even the nursing infants. Grooms leave their rooms. Brides leave their chambers. All right, so that is it for the original words of Amos. So the next one is going to be what I categorize as the Deuteronomist. So again, concerned with famine, rain. So this is going to be changing the crops related to the locust, changing that to make it sound more like famine type thing. So making Joel a prophet of Yahweh. So Joel was not originally a prophet of Yahweh. So the Deuteronomist here is going to be repurposing Joel. And then making sure that people know that Yahweh is in Zion, that Yahweh's temple is in Zion, and also talks about the day of Yahweh. All right, so we'll get started on that one. All right, so the first one here in yellow, it's this is what Yahweh said to Joel, right? So repurposing Joel as a prophet of Yahweh. This is what Yahweh said to him. I'm not going to read through all this again. But then again, it's going to be focusing on Yahweh's temple here. Grain offerings and wine offerings are no longer brought to Yahweh's temple. The priest, Yahweh's servants mourn. And then again, bring them to the temple of Yahweh, your Elohim, and cry to Yahweh for help. This will be a terrible day. The day of Yahweh is near, and it will come like destruction from Shaddai. Food disappears right before our eyes. Happiness and rejoicing disappear from our Elohim's temple. Seeds shrivel up in their shells. Storehouses are destroyed. Barns are ruined. The grain has dried up. Animals groan. Herds of cattle wander around confused. There's no pasture for them. Even flocks of sheep are suffering. O Yahweh, I cry to you for help. Fire has burned up the open pastures. Flames have burned up all the trees in the orchards. So it's really dealing. It's more along the lines of drought instead of locust. Even wild animals long for you. Streams run dry. Fire has burned up the open pastures. Blow the ram's horn in Zion. Sound the alarm on my holy mountain. Everyone who lives in the land should tremble, because the day of Yahweh is coming. Certainly it is near. It is a day of darkness and gloom, a day of clouds and overcast skies. And then a little bit here at the end. The day of Yahweh is extremely terrifying. Who can endure it? But even now, declares Yahweh, return to me with all your heart, with fasting, crying, and mourning. Tear your hearts, not your clothes. Return to Yahweh, your Elohim. He is merciful and compassionate, patient and always ready to forgive, and to change his plans about disaster. Who knows? He may reconsider and change his plan and leave a blessing for you. Then you could give grain offerings and wine offerings to Yahweh your Elohim. Blow the ram's horn in Zion. The priests who serve Yahweh cry between the altar and the entrance to the temple. Then Yahweh became concerned about his land, and he had pity on his people. Yahweh said to his people, I am going to send grain, new wine, and olive oil to you. You will be satisfied with them. He has done great things. Land, do not be afraid. Be glad and rejoice. Yahweh has done great things. Wild animals, do not be afraid. The pastures in the wilderness have turned green. The trees have produced their fruit. There are plenty of figs and grapes. People of Zion, be glad and find joy in Yahweh your Elohim. Yahweh has given you the teacher of righteousness, or Yahweh has given you plenty of autumn rain. He has sent the autumn rain and the spring rain as before. The threshing floors will be filled with grain. The vats will overflow with new wine and olive oil. Then I will repay you for the years that the mature locusts, the adult locusts, the grasshoppers, and the young locusts ate your crops. You will have plenty to eat, and you will be full. You will praise the name of Yahweh, your Elohim, who has performed miracles for you. I will work miracles in the sky and on the earth, blood, fire, and clouds of smoke. The sun will become dark, and the moon will become red as blood before the terrifying day of Yahweh comes. Then whoever calls on the name of Yahweh will be saved. Those who escape will be on Mount Zion in Jerusalem. Among the survivors will be those whom Yahweh calls, as Yahweh has promised. The day of Yahweh is near in the valley of decision. The sun and the moon will turn dark. The stars will no longer shine. Yahweh will roar from Zion, and his voice will thunder from Jerusalem. The sky and the earth will shake. Yahweh will be a makseh for his people. He will be a stronghold for the people of Israel. You will know that I am Yahweh, your Elohim. I live on my holy mountain Zion. Jerusalem will be holy. On that day, new wine will cover the mountains. Milk will flow on the hills. Water will flow in all the brooks of Judah. A spring will flow from Yahweh's temple. It will water the valley of Shittim. Yahweh lives in Zion. All right, so that is the Deuteronomist. I think that is probably also Post-Exilic, even though next redactor I call Post-Exilic. All right, so Post-Exilic, concerned with punishing the nations and assuring Jerusalem would not be conquered again. Since we have the exiles returning to Jerusalem, this is a reassurance for them as well as the people living there. All right, so let's see. All right, so I'm not going to read through the yellow or the blue. We're just going to scroll down here and where the purple is at. All right, so it says, Yahweh shouts out orders to his army. His forces are very large. The troops that carry out his commands are mighty. So we'll focus on Yahweh's strength militarily. And then here we go again. They say, spare your people, Yahweh. Don't let the people who belong to you become a disgrace. Don't let the nations ridicule them. Why should people ask, where is their Elohim? I will no longer make you a disgrace among the nations. I will keep the northern army far from you, and I will force it into a dry and barren land. The soldiers in front will be forced into the eastern sea. The soldiers in back will be forced into the western sea. A foul odor will rise from the dead bodies. They will stink. And then it's going to repurpose the grasshoppers as symbolic of the large army. And then it says, my people will never be ashamed again. You will know that I am in Israel. I am Yahweh, your Elohim, and there is no other. My people will never be ashamed again. And then again, in those days and at that time, I will bring back the captives of Judah and Jerusalem. I will gather all the nations. I will bring them down to the valley of Jehoshaphat. I will judge them there. They scattered the Israelites, the people who belong to me, among the nations. They divided my land. They threw dice for my people. They traded boys for prostitutes. They sold girls so that they could buy wine to drink. Announce this among the nations. Prepare yourselves for war. Wake up the warriors. Have all the warriors come near and attack. Hammer your plow blades into swords and your pruning shears into spears. Weaklings should say that they are warriors. Hurry from every direction and gather there, all you nations. O Yahweh, bring your soldiers. Wake up, you nations. Come to the valley of Jehoshaphat. There I will sit to judge all the surrounding nations. Cut them down like grain. The harvest is ripe. Stomp on them as you would stomp on grapes. The winepress is full. The vats overflow. The nations are very wicked. There are many, many people in the valley of decision. And then a little bit here, talking about foreigners will never invade again. And then people will always live in Judah. People will live in Jerusalem from now on. All right, so that is Post-Exilic. All right, next one is Ruach. Pretty short one. Maybe, like I said before, maybe part of the Post-Exilic redactor. And it just says, after this, I will pour my Ruach on everyone. Your sons and daughters will prophesy. Your old men will dream dreams. Your young men will see visions. In those days, I will pour my Ruach on servants, on both men and women. So, pretty short one there. Next one is the prophecies against the specific nations. And one is against Tyre. Tyre and Sidon. Now, what do you have against me, Tyre and Sidon, and all the regions of Philistia? Are you paying me back for something I've done? If you are paying me back, I will quickly pay you back for what you have done. You took my silver and my gold. You brought my finest treasures to your temples. You sold the people of Judah and Jerusalem to the Greeks. That way you could send them far away from their land. I am going to make them leave the place where you sold them. I will pay you back for what you have done. I will sell your sons and daughters to the people of Judah. They will sell them to the people of Sheba, a nation that is far away. Yahweh has spoken. And then one more against Egypt and Edom. It says, Egypt will become a wasteland. Edom will become a barren desert. This is because the nations were cruel to Judah. They murdered innocent people in their land. And then one final line here. I will punish those who murder. Okay, so that is it for Joel. That is my first stab at source/redaction criticism of this book. Let me know what you think, and thanks for watching.